Obsession has an odor. Television has a tell. Fanatical behavior seems to fit you well.
Hey guys, I got an email from my friend Jason, or Jace as he's known on YouTube. He sent me a couple pictures from the yearbooks of 2014 and 2015. It's just some statistics of where they're at as an organization right now, and I wanted to compare the two for you guys. So does anyone else feel like you can't 100% trust the figures that the society puts out there for us about how the Jehovah's Witness organization is doing these days? I've always been a little bit curious if they've ever embellished a little bit or exaggerated their numbers. But this comparison is going strictly by what they say on good faith that they're not handing us a load of bullshit. Alright, so the first figure there is the branches of Jehovah's Witnesses. In 2014, they had 90 branches, and in 2015, they only had 89. Ooh, some people got laid off. That's just too bad. And that's going in line with what we come to expect after they had those announcements talking about their cutbacks. This next one doesn't make any sense to me. Number of lands reporting in 2014 was 239, while the number of lands reporting in 2015 were 240, so they gained one somehow. How is that possible when they cut back a number of special pioneers and scoped back their preaching work? I don't know. I smell bullshit. Total congregations went up some, which also doesn't make sense considering they're cutting back. Worldwide memorial attendance, ooh, that's less, significantly so. I wonder what that's all about. Maybe Tony Prime got to him with his toast to the generation that will not pass away. And let's move down to memorial partakers worldwide. Considerably more. Yeah, this whole 144,000 going to heaven and being the only ones partaking is kind of getting a little bit ridiculous when you think of all the amount of people who have partaken over the years. Alright, peak of publishers and kingdom service. Let's see, so that has gone up somehow. Let's go down. Average publishers preaching each month. Let's see, that has gone up as well. Bravo, congratulations, I applaud you. Percentage of increase over 2013 was 2.2%, I guess. Whereas the percentage of increase over 2014 was only 1.5%. I thought as the last days came closer, the flow of people to God's organization would increase and increase more and more every year. But apparently that's not true, because they had less of a percentage of increase. Alright, total number baptized, and we see less people were baptized in 2015 than were baptized in 2014. Ooh, that doesn't look good. Average auxiliary pioneer publishers each month. There were way, way more in 2014 than there were in 2015. Not looking good, guys. Average pioneer publishers each month. Ooh, there was less. Now, hold on. There was less average pioneer publishers each month in 2014 than there were in 2015. And a lot less. How does that make sense when you consider... Okay, you know, I'll come back to this point. Let's look at the one below it as well. There was also less total hours spent in field service in 2015 than there was in 2014. Quite a bit less of time spent in service. Let me just stop there. How does that make sense that there is less publishers, pioneer publishers, and less hours spent in the field service when you take into consideration that society has made it way easier, I mean way easier to go out in the service these days? First of all, they've made it easier to be a pioneer. They've cut back the number of how long you need to be in field service to be categorized as a pioneer considerably, since even when I was in the congregation still. Not only that, but how easy is it to preach nowadays? I had someone knock on my door a couple of weeks ago, and all they did was hand me a little tract that said jw.org on it, and that's pretty much all they did. Not to mention, they've got these cute little carts now where all they do is stand on a street corner and they get to count their time. They've made it so easy that a caveman can do it. And Geico, do not sue me for using that trademark, please. How is it that they have less time in field service in 2015 and less average Pioneer publishers each month? Wow. I think that we're really getting to them, guys. I don't know. What do you think? Since I'm not doing videos as much anymore, there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about. Mike and Kim posted a video, and it had an audio clip of a talk from 1968. He was talking about the date 1975 and getting everybody anxious about that date, giving people false promises and whatnot. But the thing that actually stood out the most to me was something he said that was kind of shocking, that I don't know if a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are aware of this, but at that time, back in 1968, he was saying that over 20 billion people were going to be resurrected. 20 billion people. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip for you. Thanks again, Mike and Kim, for sharing it, because it's been incredibly interesting to me.
Don't you look forward to seeing them coming back? Well, it won't be long now. Look at what's ahead. Do you think you're going to mind having to work with the crops and the land when you find out that your loved one's going to come back and you have to plant a little extra for them? The resurrection is something to stagger the imagination with immensity. When it comes to the number that will be back, it's impossible for God to lie. Paragraph 12, page 350. Billions who died before Jesus, billions who died since will be back. The latest publication, Life Everlasting and Freedom of the Sons of God, page 393, paragraph 26, thousands of millions. The Watchtower, 1964, page 722, paragraph 24. And listen to this. Tens of billions will be back. How many are tens of billions? Well, at least 20 billion. Because to have tens of billion in the plural, you have to have two sets of 10 billion. So at the very minimum figure, let's say even 20 billion coming back. What a fantastic accomplishment that's going to be for our Lord Jesus Christ. In fact, there was a tract one time printed by the Society called Millennial Hope Explained, where it mentioned an estimated 20 billion would be back in the resurrection. Could be. Just gives you an idea. Fires the imagination. Do you realize what an undertaking that's going to be? Why, if just 20 billion were brought back from the dead every day for 1,000 years, they'd have to bring back 60,000.
So even back in 1968, the Jehovah's Witness organization was saying that over 20 billion people would be resurrected after Armageddon. And every day Jehovah would have to resurrect 60,000 people every day in 1,000 years to make that happen. Now, that was in 1968. Can you imagine how many more billions would have to be tacked on to that estimate going by that same formula now here in 2016? Oh my God. I'm not good with math, but I can only assume it'd be like 30 billion more, maybe. I don't know. But I do know one thing. There's only a little over 7 billion people on the planet right now. If you think that this world is overcrowded now and overpopulated now, just imagine what it's going to be like when over 20 billion people are resurrected all within 1,000 years. Wow. That's not even taking into account how many people are going to survive into Armageddon. It's going to be way too many people. Way too many, especially when you consider the fact that how are we supposed to take care of all these people? especially considering all the worldly conveniences will have been destroyed.